Today, we're re-diving into the fascinating history of a magnificent garment called the Manua, a gown dating back to around 1756. The word Manua comes from a region in Italy, where this style of court dress first appeared in the late 1600s. By the mid-18th century, the Manua had reached the height of its grandeur and was a powerful symbol of wealth and status. This particular gown measures an astonishing 210 centimeters in width. The wider the dress, the more fabric it showed off, which meant the wearer could proudly display just how much beautiful, expensive fabric she could afford. Wearing a gown this wide guaranteed that all eyes were on you. But to pull off such a dramatic silhouette, women had to rely on specific and often uncomfortable undergarments. The first and most crucial piece was the stays. Contrary to popular belief, stays weren't about making a woman tiny. Instead, their role was to make her figure tidy and structured, supporting the outer garment. Supporting the stays were the hoops, circular frameworks worn around the waist to give the gown its wide shape. These hoops held up the heavy fabric, ensuring the dress maintained its impressive form. Fashion at court was everything. Entry into court wasn't just about status, but about appearance. To truly belong, women needed gowns like this one. The average court gown in the 1750s cost about as much as the annual salary of the master cook at the Queen's palace, making it a serious investment. What made this gown so expensive was primarily the fabric. It was woven in Spitalfields, London, the center of English silk production at the time. The floral pattern on the fabric was created using a technique called brocading, which involved weaving extra threads into the fabric to create intricate raised designs. It's believed this dress belonged to a woman named Mary Flaxman from a wealthy Norfolk family. Wearing such a gown was no small feat. Court gatherings were crowded and formal, but the real challenge was simply getting there. A description from the 1790s tells of women folding their hoops above their heads. It's just to fit inside carriages. Despite appearances, the hoops were flexible. Made from whalebone, they allowed for movement. Women would skillfully swish and gather their skirts to pass through doorways. Going to court was an expensive affair, not just because of the gown. Women also adorned themselves with expensive lace, diamonds, and fine shoes. Each year, new gowns were expected, as fashions changed quickly. However, wearing last season's dress could be a subtle political statement, a deliberate snub toward the king. By the 1790s, wide court gowns like the Manua were going out of fashion. But Queen Charlotte insisted they continue to be worn to support the Spitalfields silk industry, which faced stiff competition from cotton, imported from India and produced in places like Manchester. This royal support lasted until King George IV changed the dress code, much to the relief of many court ladies and signaling the decline of the Spitalfields silk trade. Today, the art of hand-weaving silk like that used in the Manua gown is rare and fading. There are only about a dozen gowns of this size left in England, and fewer than 40 worldwide. What makes this particular dress so special is that it has never been cut or altered. Many gowns were later altered or reused because the silk was so valuable. In the 1870s, there was a fashion revival for early 1700 styles, leading to many dresses being changed. Because this gown remains intact and untouched. It is an extraordinary example of royal ceremonial dress history. A true treasure of fashion, craftsmanship, and the story of power in 18th century England. Don't forget to subscribe to Historical Story YT for more incredible stories about the people, places, and fashions that shaped history.